Should we bulldoze golf courses to make space for new homes? Get your calls in for this one now. So Labour has vowed to turbocharge house building, putting pressure on local authorities to find some land. In Stockport, Gatley Golf Club is closed after 113 years. It will make way for almost 300 new homes, and now it is feared dozens more courses are being eyed up too. So golfers say that this is another blow. In the past 7 years, Britain has lost more than 130 courses. Do you think this is a big loss for Britain? Is it a big loss for society? Or should house building be the priority here? Lizzie, you have a bit of experience with golf.
I do. I am a golfer. I love golf. My dad was a semi-pro. You know, he used to play. We were next to Richmond Golf Course. It was fantastic. There I am in action.
There you go. Lovely.
Look, got the gloves and everything.
Yeah, I know.
Look, this is a real shame if this is going to happen. Honestly, people are going to be up in arms about this. And
they're up in arms about the fact they don't have anywhere to live.
I will be swinging if this happens. No,
well, you won't be. That's the problem for you, isn't it?
Golf is one of the sports that's actually so good for you because it's good for your mental health. You're outside, you know, you're doing that long walk through the golf course. And also, it's the only don't forget, it's a sport. And it's the only sort of game I can think of where a 17-year-old can challenge someone who's 70 years old. It brings the generations together. It's really good for your mental health. And I think it's a crying shame that this could be happening.
I am glad you reminded me it is a sport, because often when I watch it, I do forget. It just looks like a very luxurious long walk. However, we have an issue with men's mental health. It's a predominantly male-played sport, really. And I do think very good for the mental health, get somebody out into the open. We've got an obesity crisis. Do we really want to be cutting off access to sporting ventures, Michael?
I've got nothing against golf. I've certainly got nothing against golfers. But I do think the language of priorities matters here. I think 0.5% at least. Some estimates put it up at 1% of the country is covered in golf courses. So I think if people had to drive a little bit further to a golf course and we have a bit more housing, that would be good.
So
because you're talking about men's mental health, I think.
It's 0.5% of the land is covered in golf courses. It's hardly covered in golf courses.
Well, I said 0.5 to 1% of the land covered in golf courses. And we have this conversation whenever housing comes up, because you say, oh, well, let's build on some of the farmland. So, oh, we can't build on that because it grows food. Let's build on some of the golf courses. We can't build on that because people play golf there.
Michael,
we need more houses.
This is... you know, we're known in this country for our wonderful golf courses. We'll probably see Donald Trump playing golf here when he does come on his state visit from the King's
Well, he's
invite.
got a few up in Scotland.
Well, I mean, what next? It's going to be cricket
We're also known for
greens.
housing poverty, though.
Is it cricket greens as well? Football pitches? Is that what you want, Michael? You want to live on just concrete, ruining everything. Look, this is a sport, don't forget. This is also a business. And it brings a lot of business to this country.
But those businesses are failing, and that's part of it. It's a cost of living crisis, and these golf clubs are struggling. Are they better used for housing? Don't go anywhere, because we're going to be taking your calls on this after the break. Do you think it's right to bulldoze our golf courses to make space for new homes? Love to hear your thoughts on this, particularly if you are a golfer. 0207 862 2222. They've already started on the foundations of 4 very fabulous homes.
I'm going to take Michael golfing, and he's going to agree with me.
Well, he said he doesn't mind golfing.
No, I don't mind golfing.
golfing.
You can keep half of them. I think you can be 0.25% of the country's surface area instead of 0.5.
Look at Michael compromising.
I'm being very generous here.
Compromising.
Well, as you can see, we're going straight back to whether we should be bulldozing golf courses in order to build new homes. So do get your calls in for this. 0207 862 2222 is the number to give us a ring, or send us a little message. We'll try and get as many read out as possible. We're going to go straight to those calls and speak to Trevor from Edinburgh. I'm going to take a guess that you're a bit of a golfer, Trevor.
Yes, indeed. I don't play a lot of golf, but I have played a lot of golf in the past. I'm a bit older now.
What's your thoughts?
Well, of course, golf courses should be surrendered to make places for people to live, because you have to ask the question. It's very simple. What's more important to our society? People having somewhere safe and dry and warm to live, or people having the ability to play a game of golf, because they can share golf clubs. I mean, I used to go to a golf club in Edinburgh down at Silverknowes, but there's another golf club not that very far away from it in another part of the town over towards Caerstuffin. And there's another one. So you can actually move around without too much bother if you really want a game of golf.
Trevor,
but housing...
I would love... I hear your point. I would love to know whether England is the same, because my only experience of golf courses is in Scotland, and there does seem to be one in every sort of little village or area around where I grew up as well. So there does seem to be quite a few of them. I suppose the question is, if we have golf courses in 0.5% of our land, or 0.5% to 1% of our land, and we have only actually built on about 4% of our land, that leaves us a whole 95% that is sort of free to build on. Why on earth are we getting rid of golf courses, which are great for people's mental health, great for their physical fitness, great for getting people out and about, especially at a time when we've... Oh, look at those views.
It's stunning.
You know,
again, I'd love to build a house
Stunning.
there.
Why are we...
What are we doing to this country? You know, my
The views I could have.
My American friend always loves it when she flies over through Gatley. She said, I know I've reached your beautiful country with all the green land. And we're going to have that all ruined. It was just going to be... But that's what you want.
I just want to hear from Trevor. Where could we not build somewhere else rather than sacrifice that?
Well, let me just say this. It'll be my final point. If people want to be selfish and say, well, people shouldn't have somewhere to live because I like my golf course, then they should think of themselves being homeless. And if the councils or any private authority was trying to build houses to get rid of the housing problem, which the Labour government has committed itself to getting rid of by building 1.5 million homes, where are these homes going to be built? If you've got an answer, phone me back and let me know. If anybody phones up and criticises my call, tell them they're welcome to call me and tell me where they go.
Angry very quickly there, Trevor. I don't think anyone was criticising your call whatsoever. But I was just wondering whether you would have built on brown sites or grey sites, as they're called now, or whether you would go for the green belt, or whether you would take away farmland. Like, are there other places that would be better than taking away from a golfer's golf course? But Trevor, since that was your last point, I will let you go. Janet from West Sussex, what's your view when it comes to golf courses? Do we need to get rid of them and replace them with housing?
Pretty much the same as Trevor, except that obviously I think no, I'm not angry.
No.
I just think that the people who are bemoaning the loss of golf courses, yes, it would be nice for them all for us to keep them and so on. But you have to bear in mind that the people who can't afford a home invariably, almost certainly, are people who can't afford to play an expensive game like golf, which there's nothing wrong with it if you are playing it, and there's nothing wrong with wanting to keep the courses. Obviously, it would be better to build on brown sites and where old factories were and so on and so forth. But, yeah.
But Janet, if you had to pick, would you build on a golf course, which could provide a sport and some, mental health and environmental exposure for individuals, or would you build on greenbelt, which arguably could do both, I suppose, as well? Why are we targeting golf courses when there's plenty of greenbelt around that we could be building on? Well, I don't know why I have no idea why they're targeting golf courses. Maybe they're. Did somebody say something about the fact that some of the golf courses are not really making money? Yeah. I don't think they should be targeting the green belt or golf courses. No. But at the end of the day, people need homes, and my heart does not bleed for somebody who is bemoaning the loss of a very expensive game.
It's a sport, Janet. It's a sport. It's a sport, and we're going to be losing. It is a very expensive. It's socialising. It's the only sport, as I said, as an 18-year-old, man can play against a 70-year-old man. Lizzie, that's a wide statement. And it's mixing generations. And also, how about we look at there are a million other controlling the migration we've got. You can't just shout to make your argument. I am. I'm getting very upset. You're going to take my golf clubs off me. Well, we're not. But there is, it is a sport. You're absolutely right.
but it is quite an exclusive sport, and it's a sport for people with quite a lot of money. So if you have quite a lot of money, you probably have access to a car to be able to drive slightly further afield to go to a different golf course.
So what, you just want to build, if Rainer wants to keep building, it's still not going to manage the migration. If we build a house every 2 minutes, it's not going to work. We're looking at the the population is 72.4 million in 5 years.
So you don't think we need to build more houses? We just need to stop people coming into the country?
Well, we need to look at what's happening. 500 more came over on boats yesterday.
Okay,
now
so
the
less
nicer
migrants,
weather.
more golf
and,
clubs.
Keir Starmer said he's going to smash the gangs. He couldn't smash the ice off his garden pond this morning.
Janet, thank you very much for your call. Kathy from Fife, lots of calls from Scotland, I suppose.
Oh, lots.
That makes sense.
Hi.
Hiya, what's your view on golf courses? Do we have too many of them? Kathy?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hello there. Yeah, I live in Fife, and we have an awful lot of golf courses round about here. Some of them are doing well, but ones have shut, and ones that have shut, I do believe aren't going to be opening again, and I think that housing should be built on that, because a lot of them are just an eyesore.
The golf courses are an eyesore. I mean, they're traditionally
no.
quite
What I
beautiful
mean
places.
is the ones that have shut are an eyesore because they've just been left to go to rack and ruin. The grass is so high, so I'm in agreement with ones that have been shut. But I don't think they should just target ones and shut them that are open to build the houses.
I've got you, Kathy. So if, economically speaking, the business that isn't upholding itself, that the golf club isn't making enough money, there's not enough demand for that particular one, and it shuts down, that's when that land can be used for housing. Kathy, thank you. Pat from Wiltshire, what's your view on golfing? Is it a good sport, a bad sport? Should it just be paved over for housing?
Hi, Storm. Hi, guys. I'm not into golfing.
Okay.
But my take on it is that the government keeps pushing the issue for sustainability and environmental impact. And they are putting stuff in place to try to decrease it. Mm-hmm. Why aren't you heard they talk about building on Greenland, and now you talk about the golf course. What about all the buildings that are derelict or falling apart that they have been empty for years? You could demolish it, build on there. You could refurbish them, provide housing. But all you heard about, they're telling councils they need to put in place, parcels of land for building new houses in a certain amount of years.
I think what you're talking about is brownfield sites, and we do talk about it quite a lot. This is old buildings that would really need to be knocked down and rebuilt. They're not, or empty spaces. I think it's harder to build on those sites, and I think it can be more expensive because a lot of groundwork has to be done.
Yes, it will be expensive, but when you leave it there, just falling apart, there's nothing happening to that space. Exactly. But you're taking a green space that can provide, wildlife. You're talking about the bees and butterflies, going in extinction. These parcels of land can be left for that.
But what I will say is I don't think golf courses are very environmentally friendly, crucially. Is that the point you're making?
Yeah, I think golf courses are terrible for the environment. They take up loads of water. There's no biodiversity there.
But we're going to get floods, won't we, if we just keep building, because the water won't be able to absorb.
OK, Diane from Northumberland, what's your view on this?
Hi, where do we go after we've used up all the golf courses? Do we take over parks?
Yeah, there's going to be football pitches, cricket greens, you name it.
No, get rid of cricket first. It's too long. It takes too much time up. Get rid of that. That's where I would go, Diane. What do you think?
Well, where do we go after that?
We'll all play table tennis.
Well, hopefully we'll have enough houses. Diane, I totally take your point. But while we've got golf courses closing down because financially they can't keep up, the cost of living crisis, there isn't the demand for them at the moment. Why don't we use that land to build?
But where do we go when we've used all the golf courses up? Do we go into the parks and the woods?
Yes.
I mean, do we chop the forest down?
But what's the alternative, Diane? We've got, yes to all of those questions.
stop bringing as many people into the country.
Okay, so you're with Lizzie here. You think we need to control migration, keep
Yes,
the same number of houses, maybe do multi-generational sharing in houses like we used to do in the old days, and no one's allowed to have a spare room. Is that where we're at?
Definitely not, no.
Okay, Diane.
But I think there is an alternative to knocking all the... It's fantastic exercise. And there's hundreds of people. We have a one where I live, and there's dozens and dozens of people out there every day.
Don't think anyone here, bar me, is knocking golf as a sport. I tried it once and I was rubbish, so I'm a bit hurt by it,
Once
Diane.
you've had the baby, come with me. I'll take you for a swim.
But I do see the value in it in terms of mental health and getting people out and about into the environment, into the fresh air, and talking things through. I think golf is probably a very, very good sport for that. Thank you for your call. Thanks for all your calls on that.